these voters who are beating the heat. I mean, really heat under the sun, and they have to walk at least a few hundred meters in this extreme weather, and to go and do their national duty. It was amazing, and I'm very optimistic that the flow of the voters are continuous since this morning.
Good. It's been, was it packed when you went?
No, it wasn't packed, but it looked like really was a steady flow.
Oh, good, okay.
And asked a few people around there who've been there since this morning, early morning. They said this continuous flow been on since this morning, at least the school and director I was in. Yeah.
Well, that's good, because I think people are sort of going in there. Those who went in the morning, they didn't really sleep much, and then those who will be going in right after in the afternoon.
Yeah, I think probably it will pick up now, because after iftar there won't be much time.
No, because they close at 8.
Yeah, it was close at 8, and people then going to do their prayers and do some, and with the traffic, so there won't be much time left. So I urge the people also, personally, from my experience, to go as early as possible before iftar. Maybe that's the best time to go from now till iftar. Because
every vote counts, especially with the electoral system now.
Definitely. It's not a matter of only counts. It is really a duty. When people call for changes, for improvements, for very good things to this nation, I think this is part of this is the system. This is the political system we work under. And if you don't go, you're still going to have 50 members who will legislate, I mean, constitute and come up with laws for the country, and they have a lot of power. So it's if you don't vote, you are giving up your right and your say on this matter. But they will legislate for you anyway if you don't go.
They're going to do that anyway. True.
Yeah. So it is a matter of feeling responsibility and the duty to do so.
What would you recommend if someone were to ask you now? What would be a recommendation for the best candidate, in your opinion?
You know, there are a lot of people who have different things. I mean, factors in judging on or choosing their candidate, and unfortunately, we are still, you know, suffering to a degree from factors which have nothing to do with the well-being of the nation, and to change things to the better as a nation. I mean, economy, society, everything, and they go to some other personal rules, like which sector I am in, or which tribe I'm in. Or I'm going to go, well, a friend tells me I want to go vote for my cousin. These things are not, they do not make a modern country, a modern nation. This will take us back instead of stepping forward. So I hope the people have to go first for professionalism, someone who's really clear, has with some vision to what to do, which direction to take for this country. And they have to be sincere. I think people must check on the history of this person. It is a must to check the history of this person in terms of how sincere he was, what were his accomplishments, what are his position in the different matters which everybody is talking about. These are the things. What is my cousin or belongs to the same sect or same belief, or these are way old things to take care of. Then if I go to these things, I have no right, I mean, as a voter then to judge what's going on, or to even evaluate someone.
True.
Yeah, because you didn't go. I mean, it is in a short way, I would say, it is the voters who decide which direction we are taking.
True.
And it is that important. Okay, when you don't go select your candidate based on national and well-being of the country, and thinking of the generations to come, not what I gain personally at this moment.
What my country gains.
What the country is gained. There is something called social obligation, social cost, social benefits, these things, what really should be considered when doing our duties in terms of voting for someone.
People have been taking the time to look at some newer candidates that have come in. I mean, I've heard from different people that they're not voting for some of the people they voted for in the past. They're looking at some newer faces.
Yeah.
Is it because people are looking at, they want something different, or what are they looking for?
Yes, people are fed up in a way on the stagnation status we are in, politically and economically. Definitely they want someone different who is able to push the new scenarios toward the future, you know, to build the country, to upgrade everything in terms of education, health, traffic. These are the things people are suffering with. And we go Kuwaiti, travel even the region now, you know. Sometime I just, earlier I talked to you, you know, when I travel to these regional airports now and I see this international logistics activities of everywhere, connection to everywhere, the service are provided in these airports, and I come to Kuwait airport, it's kind of, you know, feeling down of what's happening. People obviously they want, I'm sure when a voter thinks inside his and really carefully judges what he wants, he will find out that those the things that I talked about, the national interest, national unity, better economy, better education, these are the things that matter. Not some side things which is happening in some other countries, has nothing to do with me. I know we should take care of, you know,
well, we have to because they're
humanitarian. These are obvious, but I'm saying to let what outside matters reflects on our voting, which has to do the improvement of the country, is kind of way off what we should be concentrating on.
Doctor, I wanted to ask, in your line of work, you have the chance to guide students on what they want to study and what they want to do for the future. What would you, how could you advise them to when it comes to voting or building here in Kuwait? Yeah,
well, one thing about dealing with the students, it's so closely in Dubai, and I'm lucky I say different than some other cultural offices where the geographically are so much. I'm in daily connection with our more than 1,000 students right now in UAE, and a smaller number in Oman and Qatar. As we had one day had a meeting, all the heads of the cultural offices with His Highness the Prime Minister, that we should really concentrate with our students on doing their studies first, to concentrate on that's the best way of helping and having an input in the future of the of the country. They should go to good, reasonable programs, should go to reasonable universities, and I guide them also to avoid things which separate us as Kuwaitis, even when we are seen in other countries, because there are sometimes they get under the influence, few of them, of going to an extreme way of thinking, and these are the do in a pleasant ways. I always meet with them, and I'm happy with how things are developing there as a relationship between the office and the students, especially when it comes to the national interest, the national unity, and these are really high things for us. And his direction also, His Highness, as I said, Sheikh Jabal Mubarak, I think he was very well said that we should direct and guide our students wherever they are towards appreciating the good things, and to concentrate on things which unify us, and to concentrate on accomplishing what we went abroad for, which is get a decent education and a reasonable education, to come and have the input. I mean, have the chance to have an input towards their society.
Yeah. One of my guests mentioned that some of the students that were studying, some of the subjects that they were studying, they were going away from things like physics and mathematics and the sciences and moving towards things like social studies and history and that. Yeah. Why would they, I mean, we have intelligent enough children,
Yeah.
young people who are capable of doing so much more in the field of science, yet they're moving towards the humanities.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is it because they can't get jobs here, or
Yeah.
they are looking towards something and they're not being able to fulfill that here?
You know, this is we can sit for hours talk about how you connect or direct the students towards certain subjects to study,
Okay.
and what the country needs in terms of labor.
Okay.
Okay, but we need still a lot of engineers, a lot of MDs, a lot of scientists in different
Yes.
fields, and a good number, especially this year, I've noticed, at least where I am in Dubai,
Okay.
a lot of new students came who wants to study medicine or dentistry or
Good.
architecture, or which is a shift, I think, in the
Okay.
traditional classical way. But although there is one shortcoming in our employment rules, you know, the government jobs, you know, we get a college degree and you get the fourth grade
True.
of the government.
Yes.
That is also, and see which profession has higher salaries,
Yes.
and they actually go in, you know, we say kawadir in Arabic.
Yes.
So the students are going towards these special jobs which pay
Higher.
with a certain ranking or something. So sometimes even those students who have no really good desires to study and will to study, they want that. They want
Okay.
that degree to get that fourth grade of government jobs. So this is what, but in general though, if we look at the statistics, especially this year, more than 85% of our high school graduates will get some sort of scholarship from the government.
Yes.
This is unheard of, to have
True.
80% at least of your high school graduates who go to colleges. Who's going to do the other works? I mean, if we count, there are about 11,000 students who will be accepted in the vocational schools of Kuwait, APAC, and about 8,500 Kuwait University just announced that they admitted.
It's a lot of people.
That's about more than 19,000, and 4,500 local private university scholarships, and 4,000 to outside. This is, and I heard about 31,000 Kuwaiti students have graduated from high school, or less than that.
Yeah.
So if you accepted more than 27, 28 of them to go to colleges, there is something wrong, I think. I mean, everybody, it's good. But those people who come with a college degree, then they want the better jobs, as our customs and our rules are.
Well, most of the kids will graduate from universities, and will, for a lot of them, they will join the government workforce. Is it because people are joining the government workforce? Is it because it's hard for them to open their own little businesses or their own little projects on the side? Because a lot of people are interested here in doing things that are not your traditional administrative work.
Yeah. You see, in economics, the consumer, which every one of us is a consumer, he's working after his well-being. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Nope.
That's the rule. Everybody is seeking better life for him and his family. So we usually don't have good guidance for our students.
Okay.
From high school, and this is one of the things we discussed in our conference when we have the directors of all the cultural office and the Ministry of Education, Higher Education, we all sense this, that we lack some sort of good advising in high schools.
It's like a guidance counselor.
Guidance counselor, like a lot of, let's say, Western high schools,
Yes,
they do. So the kid from, or the student from October of the last year of his life, he already plans and he started contacting with the universities that he would like to attend, and the school helps him, direct him. These things are almost not existing in our high schools.
True.
So our students, you know, they don't decide which university and which subject to apply to until they graduate from high school, where most of universities have already closed the admission deadlines, and they have to wait another year and go through searching and looking for universities.
What about the kids who either don't want to go to university or who would rather do vocational work?
Yeah. We don't have good still respect to these jobs, okay? Vocational was there's nothing wrong, in my opinion, to have a very good, talented Kuwaiti guy, for example, a young guy who would have a nice garage for
Fixing cars.
Fixing cars. All have a small business of, let's say, sanitary, AC maintenance, whatever. I mean, there are a lot of good things. We are not encouraging our children to go to these things. So unfortunately, there's a college graduate, for some of them, they wait a whole year.
True.
They would not accept some sort of jobs, at least as a training, as to start doing something. They wait for that easy government job, which takes 1 year or more sometime to get.
Would it be, I'm looking at it from a point of view where the government has so many people in its workforce that it's literally overburdening our spending. I mean, the government's fiscal plan. It's. I mean, most of it goes on paying for salaries. Now, if say the average Kuwaiti now were to go out and say, well, we need to have plans to put kids in vocational schools to help young adults open their own businesses, would that help to transit Kuwaitis from working for the government to working privately? Would that?
Definitely. Anything, as I said, with good advising, directing, and assisting, maybe in capitals for some of these, but definitely. And there are some projects. Maybe still there are some young people complain about the procedures to get these loans, which is built towards helping those young people with feasible projects
and
to
go on.
One thing we must admit, the government cannot employ all these thousands
it's not possible.
of college graduates. One of the shortcomings, one of the problems, there are too many people employed in the same department in every minister, for example. Sometimes, let's say, Ministry of Public Works, you see 2, 3 engineers sitting in a small project for a school or a clinic or a mosque, and that's waste of abilities, waste of resources, I think. Somehow we must make the young people to accept working for the private sector, in the private sector. And the private sector, unfortunately, is not as mature as we wanted. There are still a lot of things lacking to polish this private sector, where the young people will trust and to go into the private sector in terms of benefits, in terms of rules and regulation of employment or firing. There are a lot of these things that should be much more clearer.
What about when now we keep getting new national assemblies are coming in and laws and legislature that would help take a lot of the burden from the government onto the private sector? Do we still need legislation for that?
Yes, I think, as I said earlier, some of the legislation, some of the laws for employment in the private sector should be reviewed, really. And from my experience, the power is way too much in the owners of the companies and the institution, rather and really the employer or the employee has the much lower hand in terms of his rights and salaries and many other things. We must clarify a lot of relationship between the employer and the employee in the private sector, and we must come up with legitimate, really much bigger, organized private sector.
This would come with a better working relationship between the National Assembly and the government.
Definitely. That's what I mean, what we are here for, really, about the elections and who should, we
it's
hope
a roundabout way, but that's what I was coming back to.
The 50, they have a lot of power in legislating things. Not only that, to create the environment for good
I think so,
legislation.
yes.
I mean, one thing before we even ask for legislating, we have not created that nice national worrisome or national with a great higher national interest in the
Yeah.
assembly first. Unfortunately, a lot of people win and they make it to that place. Their personal gains are much exceeding their what they should put into leading the country and
When you look at candidates, if someone were when someone would talk to you about the candidates, would you say listen to the person who's making more sense or the person who's dreaming more?
no, I think he was more realistic.
Okay.
And you know, we talk about the new faces, and we want to change blood. In Arabic, we say
Yes.
that. I hope that's not an objective by itself.
Okay.
I mean, I wouldn't go vote for one just because he's a new face,
No.
although I don't know him.
Okay.
I think the background, his reputation or her reputation, during as long as I remember, these are very important.
True.
People who are grumpy change positions every year in 6 months. I think these
They're
are
not gonna
what
settle
worry
down.
me. Okay, one time he is calling for such action,
And then
a few months later he's calling for the opposite action
Okay.
without any justification. These are the people we should avoid. Those people who deepen the national groupings or categorizing
Yes.
people, we should avoid those. These are really, as I would say, diseases to
True.
to the future. Those people who go on the public and they claim they're gonna defend the rights of a certain group of people, whether they are family or these should be totally avoided. Those people who come with just emotional things, okay, and as you said, listing their dreams for us. These are and history, his history or her history said that he never acted on that what he's
Okay.
preaching. We should avoid them. There are some good people there. They are
Yes.
been tested. They are much more stable in their approach to things, and they've never shown that they harmed the society in terms of their press sometimes releases. They are very well balanced on their releases, on their program. They are very clear. I mean, they pinpoint what's wrong in this country
And
what should be done. And these are the people we should go after in terms of giving them a chance for this term or for this
I think
number of years.
between if there's a stable environment between the government and the National Assembly, at least the average Kuwaiti can feel comfortable
Yeah.
and think, yes, I can face whatever dilemma comes in. I can face whatever hiccups happen.
If we look closely to all these people who are running for office right now or for a seat, in each district, I think we can see some people
Yes.
with good qualification, really. And it's the matter of how just if the voter really takes his time and concentrates and free himself from his emotions, okay, and think strategically for the country, for the future of his children, for the well-being of the country, he or she will do the right decision.
I was listening to, we're talking some groups in the family and that, so different age groups, and I was interested when some of my older family members were mentioning that they were looking at newer faces.
Yeah.
Because they wanted to see a different outlook from someone else's point of
Yes.
view, who was looking at the same old problem, but from a different point of view. The fact that someone who's older would be looking to try someone new.
I heard today when I was at the school voting, I talked to some of the people I know, younger people. They said, we want a new face. So we had this discussion, whether we want a new face or a new vision.
Okay.
Okay, we want a new vision. Or new. If you bring a new face with the same attitude and vision,
We haven't done anything.
which has been really tested, which is not good for the country, I mean, I will not bring this a new face.
No.
For the just, if I bring a new face, when this new face has the qualification and professionalism to be a politician and a legislator, which unifies us, or he will help to unify and make some healing process for the divided
Yes.
country. This man or this lady, we should really go after giving her or him a chance to have some. Let's see how he would test his vision.
Dr. Saleh, I'll just take a short break. We have our correspondent in the second constituency, Hiba Abdurrahman. She should be coming on shortly. That's
Okay,
Hiba.
that's it, okay.
Hello, Hiba.
Hello, Lulu. How are you?
Hi. How's everything going there?
Actually, everything here is perfect, more than perfect. Actually, I can say this. All the expectations before the election day, from the beginning of the day, they all said that it will be a low turnout because of the, fasting in Ramadan and the heat outside. But actually, the Kuwaiti citizens proved that Kuwait comes first. The turnout here is amazing. Everything is fine.
Okay.
We didn't witness any violations in any rules or the system. We didn't witness any problems, thanks God. And we know you have some information about the second constituency
Okay.
hearing in Kuwait. You know that it consists of 13 districts, 13
Okay.
different districts.
Yeah.
Such as Al-Mirgab, Abdullah Salim, Al-Qibla, Shuwaykh, Shamiyya, Al-Qadisiyya, Mansouriyya, Al-Fayha, Nuzha, Sulaybikhat, Al-Doha, Ghirnata, and Al-Qayrawan. And all the turnouts in all of these subcommittees, as the news came to here, they are all maybe at the same as here, a huge turnout, participation from the citizens. But the most period that witnessed this crowd, it was maybe before the gates are opened in the 8 in the morning. People were waiting outside, waiting for the gates to be opened. They were so enthusiastic to participate in this electoral system, electoral wedding today.
Okay.
Till maybe 10:30 or 11, when the heat started to be a little bit heavy.
Yeah.
So people, the turnout
Slowed down a bit.
To be a little bit, yes, a little bit, but with the expectations that the last hour from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. when the boxes are locked, it will be the maximum number of voters.
So everything is open until iftar time. So until after
Yes.
iftar,
Yes.
all the way through.
Also, yes, right. Also, here in the school, this is the main committee for the second constituency, witnessed some visits in the morning as the Transparency Society. They made a visit and took a tour inside the school to see how the electoral process are going on. Also, we had a delegation of many Arab, Gulf and Arab journalists
yeah.
and media members from the Gulf countries, from Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, from Oman, Bahrain, also from Egypt. So many TV channels and journalists, TV correspondents, they came to make also another tour to know about what's going on here. And on the security level, we didn't face any problems so far, and it will be inshallah.
Well, that's great. So you've had a pretty good turnout so far, and things are going quite smoothly.
Smoothly, yeah. Started maybe like
And the organization, everything is easy. If someone comes in, they need a wheelchair, they need something, everything is there.
yes, it's so easy here, so smooth. People can come, they know where to look for their names instead in front of the committee, even if it's the subcommittee or the general one. They just it doesn't take more than 1 minute to come inside the school, look for the name, and go sign or choose the candidate they want, and then go out in a row. It's a very organized system here, and all people, especially the security personnel, they are so cooperative with the people.
Well, this is really good. Appreciate it, Hiba.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, I guess you're there for a short while longer. We'll try and come back to you later on.
Sure, thank you.
Thank you so much. Well, that was our correspondent, Hiba. That was our correspondent, Hiba Abdurrahman. She's in the second constituency, and as you heard, things are going very smoothly, and things slowed down for a bit with the heat, but we're expecting things, the voters to pick up closer to iftar time, and that's when most of the rush is going to be. The heat isn't helping, everyone's fasting, but everybody is still at work there. They will be working throughout iftar time, so get a chance, go. It's very easy. You go in, you've got your certificate of nationality, Al-Jinsiyya, and then your names are there. The people who are checking you as you go in, it's very smooth, it's very quick. You need any help, there's someone there to help. It's going very, very well. So it's really good.
Well, that was good. I didn't hear a lot, but looks like good turnout.
Yes, it is. It is improving. We are looking forward to that, because I know people are interested. I think people who didn't think about voting last time have made a decision to come in this time.
Oh, many people. A lot of people from the people I talked to, and even as I told you when I went to the school, I can see there's a lot of changes from last election. Better turnout, and people more convinced that to do their duty.
Yes.
After the constitutional judging what happened, so
Yes.
there is no excuse not to
No
go.
excuse.
No excuse not to go. It is a legal matter. It is okay. There are some dissatisfaction here and there for some things, but that doesn't entitle or justify not going to vote and seek change if you want change.
True, because I know someone said to me that if you don't have the right to criticize if you don't go down and vote.
Absolutely,
And that is true.
and as I said also, they will legislate for us.
They will.
So
they
it's
can win
better
by
have
one
some say
vote or
with it
150 votes, but
exactly.
1,000 plus. But just make
Exactly.
the effort, go down and vote. And as I just said, everything is going smoothly. So this is the second constituency. I'm sure the first, third, fourth, and fifth are having.
I had very good experience, as I just told you. The procedure is very easy. I was not as crowded. Looks like I said the steady flow of people have really helped not to have this congestion on certain hours. But with that, it will be some sort of congestion before iftar.
But I think as you go in, it's just as you park your car, and then those few meters you walk in, and then once they check you and you go in, you can wait. But by the time you know where you're supposed to be going in to vote, you just sit there and wait for your turn.
You get your number first, your sequential number, and you know which room you are in, and
you just sit down and wait, and everything is air conditioned, so it's pretty much
the
simple.
highest thing I saw, there were so many rooms. I mean,
True.
The longest was like 15 people waiting, and that's during.
And there are chairs you can sit
during
down
the heat
and wait.
hours. Yeah.
So I think
we are optimistic that this flow will much takes place and increases as time goes towards iftar time.
Because we keep stressing that you need to go in and vote. Your vote counts. You've got to make an effort, and it is the case. It's not just we're just talking about the same thing on and on again, but it does make a difference. What I did want to ask you was, as someone who works in the educational system, what would you like to see changed here when it comes to educating people, when it comes to politics and elections and democracy?
We all say, and a lot of specialists say, that education is the only resort to changing and improving people's loyalty to the country, to think to the national unity, to think of, what you should do to your country as just always what the country will give you. I don't want to repeat of the ex-US president. Definitely, good education will create a good citizen, a responsible citizen. So in education, the schools have a tremendous role with the family, but the education institutions, schools and universities have a great obligation towards creating this responsible citizen. And people probably got away from what's the role of education in society, like what we were taught. And even now, the experts would say a good university creates or helps to to build a good person, a well-informed person, aware person.
True.
And even the little schools, even from KG, you can train the people to respect environment, to respect, to accept
each other.
other people.
Yes.
And I'm not saying to have a curriculum for these things. Every time we talk about how to improve the education, people call, okay, we have to put a new curriculum for that. No, no, you cannot put curriculum for everything and a book and a text and all that. You have to behave as administration. You have to put qualified people, how to guide the kids, how to practice things for them, even how to clean their school, how to plant things, and what it means to love your country. All these by experience. For example, I've seen a headmaster of a school smokes a cigarette in front of the kids in the break time, and to me, he should never be allowed to be in the school. This man or this headmaster. How could you convince the students that smoking is not allowed and it's bad, and you come and smoke in front of their kids? These things. I mean, this was maybe not a very strong example.
No, but it's like leading by example. You teach someone by doing it, they will actually follow what you do.
Exactly. I mean, when I go to a school where, after a break, those leftovers from the cafeteria everywhere was like an earthquake hit this place, or a major dirty storm hit it, and you go to another school where, the school is so clean after the break, all the kids put their leftovers on the pins, you know that the school has a role.
True.
And even the universities have a role. And unfortunately also the direction of education gone towards training more than education itself. And the role of the universities and role of education is not to train people only to be good accountant or a good engineer, designer, or a good, no. You have to, your role is to build a well-rounded citizen.
True.
Okay. Yes, he's very good professional engineer, but yet he's aware of other things which are as important. Communicating, good, let's say, volunteer work for the society, what's good, what's bad, how to accept the others, how to...
Social skills.
Yes, yes. We are, unfortunately, we are avoiding, now, or universities are to concentrate on getting income from training and things like that. So we really have to concentrate more on the education. Education is the most powerful tool towards improving and to build better citizens.
When we say building better citizens, we are hoping for the country to improve into a much brighter future.
Yeah.
When we try to do that, we need to be able to give them a sense of stability and a sense of being part of the community that we live in. That must be very difficult when you have people who are they are separating or segregating the different backgrounds, the different in the different forms, but they're segregating and they're pushing people apart.
Yeah.
It's how hard is it to try to put all this together again?
It is not easy, but yet it is not impossible and must be done to get the people together and to teach the kids to respect each other, not to stress on things which divide us, stress and highlight the things which unite us. And we must really, with this situation we are in, we have to observe our kids, what they say, what the stories they come from the schools, and have an input. One of the examples I also use in how we are, our education system becoming weak in a way, fragmented to pieces, when the students and the parents feel that they are opponent to the school administration.
Okay.
Or to the teachers. There is a feeling, sometimes I feel it, and a lot of people agree with me, even in the university. The student thinks he is an opponent to the professor, while the two should believe that they are one team. They are the professor is guiding the student, and the student is gaining from the experience of this older person. If we have that feeling, not because I'm here just to test you and to make you memorize certain, this is the feelings that I see should be really broken and come up with some unified things. As we are in the school, the parents, the teacher, the students are one unit. They're learning, they are doing something towards an objective and a collective. Then the schools, they think they are an opponent to the ministry or a certain, and so on and so on. So the people don't feel they belong to one organization, that the objective is the same to all of us. That's what's missing really. While the parents really go and sometimes fight for a point or a grade and so on, while we don't take care of the relationship, the one unity thing in the school and in the educational system.
A lot of people now depend on the social media, for example, the Twitter and the Facebooks and all that. We take a lot of us look at the information we get from there to build an opinion about a certain candidate or a certain law or a certain way of thinking. What would be a way to be able to talk or to understand what's going on?
As a academic person, as I would say researcher, I think Twitter right now or other social media has given us plenty of information to analyze so many social point of views.
True.
For example, I gained so much from following some of my students on Twitter. You know, they write about their professors, about the subjects, about his trips, about whatever. So I can gain a lot of things by following the students. And I read an article about such amazing data source now, these social media thing, to understand the trend of the generation or the trend of the people, what they think of certain issues. There's a lot of things to be gained in Twitter or from other social media things. But because I participate in the Twitter more, and a lot of things. If I want a fast news, I would go to the Twitter.
True.
To see what's going on. Also, we cannot also nullify the negative things, you know, the ideas, also reflecting in the social media.
True.
But we have to really understand the background of all. But it's amazingly those social media is becoming a great place to I read an article says in Abu Dhabi itself, they're using Twitter now to see if like flu type of how spread the disease, how spread, by understanding those statements come from Twitter.
Oh, interesting.
Very, very interesting. I don't think that time will help us, but it is really working very well. And I saw it myself, went to the people who are seeing this, one of the universities, and research how they're using just the typical Twitter statements to understand a certain type of flow is spread or not in the Emirate.
Can we just? I'd like to just skip to something else.
Yeah.
Why is it that in Kuwait politics affects our daily lives? Everybody wants to be a politician, especially this time of year. I mean, now everyone's a politician.
This is one of the unfortunate things, I think, because we should go by our professionals. Okay, and then I can give my point of view, but I shouldn't believe that that's it, because my point of view should be the right thing to be
True.
said or to be done. Sometimes I think we have, unfortunately, we have a lot of time. Maybe a lot of us have a lot of time in their jobs, as we said earlier, free time. Or I will be amazed if all these people, which I see on the Twitter, you know,
Actually get any work done.
the number of hours they put in the and just writing and
Minimal.
this is a lot of time invested in those social media. So I'm not a social researcher or those, so I cannot say, but definitely Kuwaitis are experts in everything. which I think sometimes, okay, I shouldn't make it so public. For me, if I want to say something in medicine, I should be very careful what I say.
True.
So if I want to talk about my profession, maybe that's much easier and confident to say things. But it's amazing. These things are, I think, this beautiful also, as I said, tremendous for social researcher to really study these phenomena. Why we are so much. Today I was, when I was driving to the TV, this man was said, amazing how much time we invest in these social media. But there was a nice, I apologize for forgetting, but he said something even much nicer about how things are boiling, okay?
Yeah.
And Twitter and everything towards so many issues, yeah.
Well, I think one now is just looking forward to seeing what happens towards the end of the day when the ballots, when the balloting stations close and the counting begins, and that's when I think most people are not going to be doing much sleeping tonight.
Let me tell you also our election system. I don't know if I may say a few words. Everything should be improved.
True.
And matures to better standards.
Yes.
We still need to have this election rules and guidelines to be improved to something even higher, in sake of reducing the negative effects. For example, everybody allowed now to candidate, almost to be a candidate. Serious, not serious, okay? Whether he's capable or not capable, whether he has the good background or required background, I will say, for such a job, to be a legislator, to be government evaluator. These things not everyone can go to.
No.
Maybe in the future we'll have decent political parties. And I know in our societies, because we always say, okay, look at such and such countries. But as a nation, I think we are highly educated.
And we need to focus on ourselves.
Yeah. We have to seek what's good for us. To have each person to run for election with his own ideas, and for 400 or 300 people, each one is out. It's not very, let's say, ideal to improve the nation or what we want. Or maybe a political party which unifies the nation in the future, more than again to fragmentize them to pieces. This is what we need, with a clear vision what they want to do. So the issues, let's say,
to make them more accountable.
Strategy of traffic, for example. We need people to come and say, okay, this is the way to do it.
I think this is a work in progress for now. This is going to be, I think, as we start to make smarter choices when it comes to electing our MPs, and more people turn out to vote, then I think slowly we have the ability, we can do it, we will do it. It's just, I think it's just a matter of time. That's Saleh, I'll just take a short break. We'll just take a short break and we'll be right back. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're coming to you live from our studios in KTV2 at the Ministry of Information. And with me is Dr. Saleh Al-Yasin. He is the director of the Kuwait Cultural Centre in Dubai. Welcome back, Doctor.
Thank you.
I just wanted to ask you now, as we're wrapping up the interview, what are your wishes and dreams for Kuwait?
I would love to see Kuwait in a better situation in all aspects, and the Kuwaitis deserve to have that.
Yes.
And we have the capabilities to do that in terms of manpower, the know-how, the money, the leadership. We have all the environment. If we just give away our selfishness,
True. It's very
to
true.
always, let's look collectively to our society, because social well-being, it reflects positively on us as individuals. We should leave of what I want to gain now, and let's look to our future. And I think His Highness the Emir said many great words in this sense. Okay, and for example, our national unity is very important. That runs into our national security issue. These are very important words. We have to really think what do they mean, not just few words said and that's it. And also what he said, we have to work much more seriously, and for example, to transfer Kuwait to a modern center for finance. These are legitimate things, and I think we should all concentrate, from ministers to undersecretaries to the staff of every institution and every ministry, to upgrade, to improve things, and to let our personal gains and infights,
Prejudices.
These will always really harms us and becomes an obstacle towards our goals and objectives as a nation. And I hope this election also, if we do a good, careful selection towards, again, away from emotions, away from our personal gains or family gains, look at the nation, look at the future. We will do well, I think, inshallah.
Put Kuwait first.
Inshallah, we'll do good.
Put Kuwait first.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Saleh. It's been such a pleasure having you here at the studio. I know it's tiring and it's been a long day for you, so thank you very much for joining us. We really appreciate it. We look forward to seeing you at some time soon.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.